Hello friends, you're watching Avinonan. Today we have come up with a life lesson on how to beat procrastination. As per researchers, it is the best time to be alive, as you are literally bombarded with options that you can choose from to accomplish anything and everything in life. Imagine a guy who has to complete a certain set of tasks within a day. That includes complete reading 200 pages of a book, prepare a presentation for his clients, attend multiple meetings, spend time with his family, and simultaneously plan for next day's work. How is he going to manage all that effectively and efficiently? Interesting, huh? All these works are important in their own way and needed to be managed properly. Therefore, he has to prioritize them in a proper manner. The first job for him to beat procrastination would be to identify the most crucial and time-consuming task for the day. For example, the presentation he has to prepare is the one crucial task that is most important one. But the pressure of the task is making him procrastinate the same. Then how is he going to beat the procrastination? Does this sound familiar to you? You must be remembering the scenario where you have to complete a bunch of tasks and you are delaying the inevitable. Can you visualize the same? So imagine the most difficult task is equivalent to eating a live ugly frog each and every single day. And the more you delay in eating the frog, the deeper the thought of eating the same sits in your mind each and every passing hour of the day. And you end up procrastinating more and more. Coming back to the story, in an alternate scenario, if the guy completes the presentation first thing in the morning, then he can do the rest of his work peacefully. He can read the book mindfully, attend the meetings with full concentration, spend a lovely time with his family, and can still be left with enough time to pre-plan his schedule for the next day. Today's video is all about helping you in setting and achieving your goals and prevent you from procrastination. Next, I'm going to list down 15 easy steps which will help you in beating the procrastination. We shall be using an example of an imaginary student in some steps to explain. So watch this video till the end. I can promise you it's gonna be a fun journey. Step 1. Write down your goals. On an average, it is seen that only 3% of people write down their goals on paper. Do you know why writing down your goal helps? Because it gives a tangible feeling that you can touch and feel your goals. It develops a clarity of thoughts, and later on, you can be crystal clear about what you want to do if that's written right in front of you. Like a popular saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Research shows the person who set clear goals accomplished 5 to 10 times greater than the others who doesn't. According to Napoleon Hill, a famous author, there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to achieve it. Step number 2. Identify your key result areas, or your KRA, which is also known as KPI, that is, Key Performance Index. The focus should be on areas which will directly affect your performance. For example, suppose for the same imaginary student who has already planned his day in advance, focusing on most important subjects, he now needs to focus on the key chapters or topics of the particular subject, which will help him to score better in exams. By identifying those chapters properly, he can further narrow down his focus on key things, which demands his immediate attention. Step number 3. Apply 80-20 principle. Once the KRAs are identified, the student must apply the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle is also known as Pareto principle, named after the famous Italian economist and engineer Vilfredo Pareto. The 80-20 principle says that your 20% of activities will give 80% of the results. So imagine these 20% activities are equivalent to the most important task, or the big ugly frog that you have to eat the first thing in the morning. Comment in the comment section if you want to see an entire video on 80-20 principle. Step number 4. Practice creative procrastination. Well, sometimes procrastination is good. Confused? For example, the student cannot complete all the subjects at first. Sometimes, what we call selective study has to be taken into account. He has to choose the toughest and the most important one at first, while the easy subjects can be delayed till later in the day. In this way, he can organize them by value and importance, so that he can complete his homework in a much efficient and effective way. Step number 5. One barrel at a time. Next in our list is the one barrel at a time approach. There is an interesting story behind it. In earlier days, the French used this method as a tool to cross the Sahara Desert that is stretched over 500 miles. Footmarks doesn't stay on desert sand due to sand waves. Thousands of people had lost their way and eventually died in the desert by running out of food and water. It is very difficult to position a landmark amidst the sea of sand, and therefore, in earlier days, the French placed oil barrels 5 kilometers apart in the desert for the travelers to safely cross the desert without losing the right track. They used to travel from one barrel to the other, and in this way, they can also measure how far they have come across. Similarly, the student has to cross one goal at a time and then move towards another. Step number 6. Upgrade your skills. The student has to take time to upgrade his key skills. Once Abraham Lincoln was a kid, he was asked to chop down a tree and was given 6 hours to do the task. On asking, how will he do it? He replied by saying, I will spend first 4 hours for sharpening the axe and the rest for cutting down the tree. The key takeaway is that the possession and development of the right skill set is more important than everything else. If you don't possess the right skill set, your entire effort might go in vain. Step number 7. Identify the bottlenecks. For example, the student has to identify what are the obstacles in completing a particular topic or chapter. Suppose he is trying to complete a chapter in physics, but to solve the problems, he needs to understand certain mathematical tools and techniques. Without completing the same, he can't proceed with the physics chapter. So these tools and techniques are his bottlenecks. So to remove the bottleneck, he has to complete learning the mathematical tools first. In a way, the bottleneck becomes his first frog to eat. Step number 8. Put stress on yourself. Now, many of you might frown upon the fact that the one thing which doctors all over the world say to stay away from, how can that be beneficial to you? Let me explain. Stress nurtures your skills, takes you out of your comfort zone, and challenges you. In short, without stress, you cannot grow. Surprised? There is a fine line between taking stress and managing it effectively for your development. Stress ensures your growth. So next time you hear about stress, I want you to remember this. Don't take stress, manage it. Step number 9. Give yourself a deadline. For example, let's say the student has to leave for a vacation. We all do at some point of time, right? And he has to complete certain topics within a day. So he focuses his maximum attention to complete those topics on time. Research shows that if 2 persons were given a job and allowed a time 30 minutes to one and 3 days to the other, then both of them will complete the task as per their given time. That is, the person who was given a 30 minutes time shall finish the job at a higher rate, and the other one will do the job by procrastinating at first, but finishing up the same just before the deadline. So when you give your task a deadline, your brain maps the time and accordingly urges you to complete the same. Step number 10. Strike off the task from the list once done. Research shows that when you complete a task, your brain helps secreting a hormone known as endorphin, which is same hormone which is secreted when you take a dose of drug or alcohol. So completing the task gives you a natural high, which is a form of positive addiction. It had happened to all of us at some point of the time. So how does it feel when you complete a long and exhausting task? Wonderful, right? A sense of relief and satisfaction is felt by you. That is a huge rush of endorphin flowing through your body. So indulge yourself in having this dose of endorphin by completing more and more tasks. Step 11. Use technology wisely. There is a popular saying that technology is a faithful servant, but a terrible master. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is to check your phone, then there is a probability that you have the symptoms of a phone addict. According to research, on an average, people check their smartphones 80 times a day. Every time a phone vibrates, a message chimes, or a notification pops up in our phone, we all feel an urgency to check and reply instantly. Every time we hear such notifications, our brain secretes huge amount of hormones called dopamine, which distracts us to complete the task at hand. It creates an urge for us to check and reply to messages instantly. Therefore, you need to stay focused throughout the timeline of the task, away from such distractions. Next time you feel an urge to reply to someone's message instantly, just remember who is responsible. On the other hand, technology can be used wisely for our education as well as our day-to-day tasks. For example, when you are reading an ebook on a smartphone or preparing a presentation on a PC, then technology can be hugely effective. Once you have mastered the art of controlling the urge, you can effectively use technologies to your advantage. If possible, stay away from your phone or any digital devices for that matter, or put your devices on a flight mode while you are working. Step number 12. Don't try to multitask. Focus your attention to a single task at one point of time. You need to stay focused and at the top of your game while you are completing a task, and you can't afford to give in to the distractions in any possible way. You can't focus into two jobs simultaneously. Even sun's rays can be used to light a fire only when they are focused to a single point. You need to have a pinpointed focus like that. Many people might say you have to multitask. That is literally impossible, because multitasking is a misnomer, as our brain is not meant for multitasking. By the way, multitasking means focusing on two or more jobs at the same time. Even the computer can't multitask. It performs multiple tasks one after the other so fast that it may seem to you that these are performed simultaneously. But the action of the computer can be rightly notified as multiplexing rather than multitasking. Step number 13. Batching. There is a process known as batching, which is used by famous CEOs and entrepreneurs. When you perform two or more tasks with full efficiency, do not confuse batching with multitasking. Batching includes some tasks which may not require your undivided attention at times. For example, while working out in the morning, you can simultaneously listen to motivational podcasts, or you can take lunch while attending a meeting. In this way, you can make time for every task for the day. Step number 14. Slice and dice every task. There is a popular saying, if you want to eat an elephant, you should eat it one bite at a time. Same thing can be applied to our frog eating anecdote also. You should break every job in small chunks and allot a batch of time for every chunk as mentioned in the previous point. For example, in case of the student, if he has to complete a certain subject in a certain time and the subject is further broken down into 3 topics, say A, B and C, like our previous example, then he should allot batches of time for those particular chunks of topics. In this way, he can complete his task in an efficient manner. Step number 15. Last but not the least, reward yourself. After every task completion, you should take some time out to appreciate yourself. Say to yourself that, what a wonderful job you have done. You can also take a short break in between 2 successive tasks. Your brain will be tricked to treat that as a reward and will try to complete more such tasks on time when given to it in order to be rewarded more and more. The material value of such rewards does not matter. In this way, your brain will help secreting more and more endorphin, which will boost your ego and elevate your confidence level and will eventually help you in providing with more and more energy and enthusiasm for the following set of tasks. So friends, these are the 15 steps to avoid procrastination and improve your efficiency at work. The lessons in this video are influenced from the book Eat That Frog, written by Brian Tracy. Hope you have enjoyed this video. To get more such videos, please do like and share this video and spread this knowledge among your friends and family. My mission is to spread motivational lessons like these among all. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you don't miss a single video uploaded here. Keep learning and keep sharing. Ciao and goodbye.